What's up, guys? It's your girl Kia, and I'm back with another video. Let me be really honest. I've actually recorded a version of this video 3 times, and it's been really hard to record because one, hold on. Yeah, we're doing this now. One, because I have so much going on, and two, I just have so many thoughts about what we're about to talk about. So you can see from the bottom of the video, we are talking about the Real Housewives of New York and specifically Brynn Whitfield and everything that happened on the season finale. Andy Cohen has been leading up to the season finale saying that it was explosive and that honestly it was dark, and he was right. It was pretty dark. And I'm not going to go off into secondary commentary. I'm going to focus on the episode and add my thoughts in. So we are still in Puerto Rico. We've been in Puerto Rico forever, for God's sake. But we're still in Puerto Rico. The women are back from having dinner, and Brynn wants to follow up on the comment that Uba made in the car about, maybe she slept with somebody to get the job. And the job they're talking about is getting on this show. Let's be honest, everybody thinks that Brynn did something spectacular to get this job because there's nothing really interesting about Brynn except for that she's a very beautiful woman. There's nothing else that she really brings to the table. So I don't understand why she got this job. I mean, when you look at the other women, they're all interesting, they're all unique, especially, Jenna, Raquel, Uba, even Sai. Sai is a very well respected influencer, has a huge platform, does a lot of work. So those all make sense. But Brynn never makes sense. So anyway, they're talking about it. And Uba's just like, I'm over it. I'm done talking to you about it. I said this, and Brynn was trying to manipulate her words, saying that she sucked D to get the job. And Uba's like, no, I did not say that. I said maybe you slept with somebody to get this job. When they kept going back and forth, Uba was like, I'm done. Go to hell. I'm done with you, and walks out of the room. Brynn proceeds to break down and gets emotional about her career and how strong her career is, how much she's had to work. And I do believe that Brynn has had to work very hard. I think Brynn came from a very traumatic upbringing. She's a biracial girl raised by a white woman, and that can be traumatic in itself. She doesn't really know her father very well. She saw him on his deathbed, according to her, and I'm saying that for a reason. If you know, you know. And she's had to pay for her own way through college. All these things are believable. Where she loses me at, and honestly, I was lost way before everybody else in this interview. Not in the interview, in this episode was I was lost at this moment when she was like, as a black woman, you shouldn't be talking about having sex with someone to get a job. As a black woman, why can't we just make money? As a black woman, why can't we do this? As a black woman, why can't we do that? Brynn, you need to stop. Brynn does not face the world as a black woman. She doesn't even face the world as a biracial woman. Brynn faces the world as someone who passes. And I talked about this in other videos. Brynn passes for white. And there are a lot of biracial people who pass for white or can. Like if some even if you cut their hair off, they could pass, but others, they have bone straight hair. But it happens. Passing or pass on blanc, it happens. And Brynn is one of those people. You would have when Brynn signed up for the show, people did not have any idea that Brynn was black or Brynn was biracial. What people thought was, oh, maybe her parents are Peruvian or maybe Italian, because it's always a go-to. Maybe she's got a little Italian in her blood because she faces all of her features. Most of her features are white features. She had the button nose, lips, face, freckles. It's all white facing. The only reason why you would think Brynn is maybe biracial is because of her hair. And she goes out of her way to straighten her hair, which causes it to be very thick and very frizzy because she's straightening, getting keratin treatment all the time. Listen, mixed girls out there, because I have all of my nieces are mixed, thanks to my brother. You cannot put your hair through that much processing. It damages your hair. So when that it's straight and it frizzes up a little bit, it just looks damaged. You just got a big poof ball on your head. And we watched Brynn sit at the table. Instead of just wetting her whole head and letting it go curly or waving and pulling it back into a ponytail, she continues to try to present herself as white and keeping it straight. No matter how crazy she looks, she wants to make sure that the world sees her as a white woman. And I don't know if it was easier for her grandmother to raise her that way because her grandmother has no connection to the Black experience. They got her a black hairstyle, which is great, but it almost looks like the grandmother was directing that hair process of saying, it needs to be straight. It needs to be straight. It needs to be straight so I can deal with it. It needs to be straight because it looks better. It needs to be straight for whatever reason. And Brynn had just continued on with that. So Brynn crying about facing the world as a black woman, she's not. She has no idea what it is to be a Sai or a Raquel or a me or even an Ashley from Potomac. She has no idea. The world sees her as a beautiful white woman, delicate, precious, beautiful, can do whatever she wants. And we've seen that she's been able to do anything she wants by her behavior on the show. She only pulls out her blackness when it when she's either kind of attacking another Black woman like Uba, or when she can use it to her advantage. For example, let's go back to when she made the angry Black woman comment to Uba. When she told that woman, hey, watch what you say, you don't want to be an angry Black woman because you don't want Oliver to see that because then you know how is he going to think he may not want you anymore. And everybody was like, what the heck was that? Why are you telling her that? Why are you saying it like, oh, Black woman to Black woman, I'm just saying, sister, we got to stick together. That's how she wanted that to come off. Instead, everybody else in the world was like, no. Number one, Black women, we don't talk to each other like that at all. Black women here, we don't talk to each other like that. I don't go to another Black woman who's angry about something and say, hey, as a Black woman, you need to calm down. You don't want people to think you're an angry Black woman. We don't talk to each other like that. So her saying that to Uba, almost to embarrass her, criticize her, but to also prop herself up as someone, I get it because I'm a Black woman. And now she's doing it again to earn more sympathy, to be more of a tragic victim of, I'm going through so much trauma and I'm also a Black woman and it's so hard for me and you guys don't understand. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. She continues to get upset and they're comforting her, trying to get her to calm down, and says, I go through so much. I go through so much trauma, which she has. I go through so much trauma. Do you know I'm in support groups for SA victims? And everybody in the room is shocked. Jessel's mouth is actually open. No one knew this. No one had any idea. She then goes on to say, and Uba knows this. Uba knows this. Uba knows that this happened to me. Everybody is now even more stunned. They leave the room. They're done comforting her, comforting Brynn, and everybody is really disappointed in Uba. Like most of us would be if we knew that you're making these sexual comments about her when you know she's dealing with trauma, and maybe people with trauma don't react to it well. So why are you making your slick, rude comments about her situation? You shouldn't be doing that. That's the normal response that any of us would have. Jessel, being the good ride or die friend she is, goes to Uba and said, hey, why are you making these comments about Brynn when you know she's been SA'd? Uba is stunned. Uba is shocked. As Sai comes in the room, Sai's trying to talk to her. Uba is sobbing and crying. Uba, again, runs out and goes to Brynn, who is being comforted by the producers again as she's laughing and giggling. And Uba is just like, you said on camera that you were SA'd and I knew about it? And Uba erupts and is angry and is frustrated. Brynn is attempting to defend herself to the other women, like, no, I told her. You have to believe me. You have to believe me. Uba is with Jenna, and she's also with Raquel, just telling them, no, may Allah strike me down and take my firstborn child if I knew about this. I did not know about this. And Jenna and Raquel really believed her. And then later that night, Bringo, they had Uba and Jessel leave. And I'm so happy that Jessel went with Uba. Jessel really is a good friend. A lot of the Bravo universe and in Roni universe may not like Jessel. Jessel's a friend. Jessel is a ride or die friend. She's been the same from season 1 to season 2. She hasn't changed. She may be a little bit more fabulous now than she was in season 1, but she's the same person to her core. And she wanted Uba to feel supported. I honestly would have gone with Uba too. I would have been like, I'm just gonna go with her because I don't know what's going on here, but I'm gonna go over there. So they leave. Now they're all in Jenna and Raquel's room, and Brynn comes in and she continues to tell the story, and she has every right to tell her story. And then she goes, well, maybe Uba didn't clock it. And this is where I'm officially done. You just made it seem like that girl threw your sexual history in your face to embarrass you and humiliate you like you're some inappropriate slut. And even though she knows that you've been victimized and that maybe you're going through trauma, you just made the world seem almost like Uba's a grape apologist or something. Like Uba is slut shaming you to a whole 10th other level. Try to change the opinion to Uba to all these women. But now it's, well, maybe she didn't hear me. Very casual. Maybe she didn't hear me. And all the room is now upset and over it and doesn't want to talk to you and doesn't want to deal with Brynn. And they're right. You threw that out there to win the argument. Not the fact that she'd been sexually assaulted. I mean, SA'd. Oh, I'm going to mess up. Not that she'd been SA'd. But that she had been, that Uba was the bad person, not on her side and throwing things in her face when she knew. That's how you were trying to win the argument. Brynn, you're Brynn, and Brynn, it's crazy to me because Brynn has lied and exaggerated. They show a montage of Brynn lying and exaggerating and bringing things to camera that she shouldn't have brought to camera out of context, no additional information, and people are just left stunned, like, I didn't say that or I didn't do that. I mean, even Jessel now is having to defend her marriage because Brynn decided to say on camera that, Jessel's love of her life is some black guy that her parents wouldn't let her marry. And Brent and Jessel's like, what are you? I never said that. Like, I never said that. And she told the story on page 6 of what Six was actually, what she was actually talking about. But she had to go to Pavitt, and Pavitt and her had issues in their marriage because of that. These are real things. And Brent continues to come back in the room trying to check everybody's temperature, and they finally go to bed. The next morning, Brynn is sitting on the couch with production, once again comforting her, and is acting like nothing happened like last night. Like the world didn't just explode on everybody, and there was all this emotion and crying. She's just like, I'll just power through. I'm kind of psycho like that. Yes, Brynn, you are a psycho. You're a psycho. You are an unhealthy woman who needs serious help. Even Sai was like, no, you gotta go. Like, you can't stay here. And she didn't say it to her fellow's face. She said it in the confessional. But Sai has a feeling that all of us have, like, no, you gotta go. You can't be around us. You can't be around me. Because I don't know what you're gonna do, what you're gonna say. And I have a hood voice for a reason. I don't know what hoes like you are capable of. Like, you need to leave. So she leaves. Uba comes in with Jessel. They tell Jessel what Uba comes in with Jessel and they tell Uba what happened. And Uba is devastated. She is emotional. She is sobbing. She is crying. She's like, I did not know this. And why would she say this? And why is this happening? And I don't understand what her goal is. And she's just so broken. And I feel so bad for Uba in that moment because I feel like Uba gets a bad rap because she has a very loud voice. She can be very dramatic and crazy and she's just loud and she's a lot. She's not angry, she's just a lot. And does she say everything the right way? No. But is she a vile evil person like Brynn was painting out, how Brynn has been painting her out to be this entire season? Brynn attacks everybody, and then when she gets attacked, it's just like, I can't do this, dude, I don't want to be a part of this, dude, I can't handle this. But you are the one attacking these people. And I think of different scenes because I've watched season 1 and season 2. I think of the scene with Sai where Sai wanted to talk to her and Brynn was like, no, I don't want to talk to you. And then later on, she's all upset, like, I gotta go, dude. I don't want to deal with this. I don't even want to feel like this. But they wanted to talk to you and fix it. What are you talking about? Or when Brynn is trying to act like she's the Miss Big Badass, Boosie Badass or whatever at the reunion, like, I don't put people in the hospital, I put people in the morgue, but then you're crying a few seconds later because you feel so hurt about stuff. Like, pick a lane. Pick a lane. Stop it. That's why it's hard for us to sympathize with Brynn. And people are, viewers are complaining, like, well, why didn't the women confront Brynn in that moment? How? How are you going to confront an SA victim, even though they've lied about something else, and say, well, you're a liar? It's going to all get misconstrued in Brynn's mind. It was easier just to have her go, and everybody can deal with it later. So they go to the title cards photo shoot together, and Brynn is now complaining in a confessional how she feels all alone, and nobody gets it, and I feel so lost. What are you talking about? Everybody took your side in that moment. It wasn't until people realized you were lying that they stopped taking your side. And why would they continue to take your side? Why? People are now starting to see the exaggeration, the stories, the making up stuff, the exaggeration. Everybody's starting to see it. Brynn is a very lost little girl who has no idea who she is. And I agree with Sai when Sai said she's probably had to lie her entire life about one reason or another. Maybe lying so that people think that she's happy and good and everything's fine, or lying about, well, no, my dad's just at home. My parents are fine. And no. Me and my brother got parents. She probably lied her entire life that now it is coming a part of who she is. That it's easier to lie and push through than tell people the truth of what's going on, than to tell people that I had a Mima who didn't know how to raise me as a black girl. I had no idea. Or that I've been SA'd. Or that I don't have the strongest career as I want it to be, and I'm trying to project it that it's a good career. Brynn does not have a strong career. You can go to Brynn. Brynn's career is very vague and very kind of like grand titles, but it seemed very vague to me. There's not a lot of information on what she's done or big, like only a couple of big brands she's worked with. Do I think she's doing okay enough to maybe live in New York? Yeah, sure, in some tiny apartment, but I don't think she's on the level of the other girls are, like a Psy, who's an influencer, or a Jenna, who's doing a great job, or Jessel. Jessel had a big career in fashion. Like all these people have had these great careers and they've moved on. And Brynn's just never got there, but she wants to be there. And she probably does have to rely a lot on her quirky beauty and everything like that to get her where she is. And she may not like it, but that's what you've had to do. And it's also, and this is gonna be my last thing, the clothing. And I'm not victim blaming. I'm not at all. And everybody handles traumas differently. But it's odd to me that you're a woman who has been essayed, I have a meeting, and now you're leading, not only just being sexually open and honest, which is great, but you're leading every conversation with sex. For example, can anybody tell me why she laid on the floor in Puerto Rico in front of that young lifeguard begging for his attention and he was uncomfortable just standing there looking around like, why are you on the floor? Like, is there a reason why this woman's on the floor? I don't know what's happening. And she just laid there. And like, are you gonna rescue me? Are you gonna rescue me? And it was just it was very weird. So to me, it's like you want people to take you seriously as a grown-up businesswoman who's so smart and sophisticated, but then you do stuff like that. And it wasn't funny. It was just cringy and awful. So how are we supposed I would love Brynn, how do you want us to see you? Like honestly. And if you tell us how you want us to see you, can you just stick to that person? So listen, I finally got this video done. I'm so happy. So please drop them in my comments. Let me know your thoughts. It's so much to talk about. Brynn's dangerous. Uh, that's all I got to say. I will see you guys in the next video. Again, I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts.